Hello and welcome to Revolutionize Your Love Life. Do you want to know more about love relationships, what makes them work, how to create the one of your best dreams? Do you want to be in a really healthy, juicy love relationship? In these podcasts, we will give ideas and practical advice to light your way. Whether you're looking for a love partner, already in a relationship you wish could be better, or leaving one that has run its course, there will be something to inspire, empower, and support you. Revolutionize Your Love Life is a fortnightly podcast where you will access the knowledge and wisdom of love experts and relationship coaches from across the world to help you find true fulfillment in love. I am your host, Heather Garbutt. Welcome. Hello, everybody. I'm here today with the lovely Lisa Hawkins, and we're going to talk about self-love and self-abandonment. Now, remember, don't roll your eyes when it comes to self-love, because that's what we're wired for in our culture and in our families. We really need to let go of self-abandonment, because without that, there's very little progress. Let me introduce Lisa. She's a relationship and self-awareness coach and the founder of Consciously Awake Counselling. For over 26 years, she's been passionate about the human experience, why we love, how we connect, and what gets in the way. She works with both men and women to awaken the part of themselves that already knows how to love deeply, freely, and consciously. Through spiritual inquiry, emotional accountability, and her signature pause method, Lisa helps people question old beliefs, shift their patterns, and create authentic relationships. And this starts with the one you have with yourself. Her work is about truth, healing, and connection at a higher level. Whether you're navigating love, healing from heartbreak, or learning to trust yourself again, Lisa brings wisdom, presence, and a deep respect for the human experience. Welcome, Lisa, and thank you so much for joining me on this brilliant topic.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be here today.
Real joy. So let's start off with the question of what people think self-love is, and then maybe you can explain to me more fully what you think it is.
I noticed that a lot of people think self-love is self-indulgence. Some people, mostly women, believe that self-love is hot baths and going out with your friends and, buying clothes and taking care of your body and all of that. And that can be part of self-love, but it's not the entirety of it. Self-love is when we are truly present with all aspects of ourselves, even the parts we don't like, even the parts that we would rather run away from. And we love those parts like we would a child that's having a tantrum or a struggling moment where they're not getting what they want. And we dive into that, embrace it, love that part, and look at it with curiosity. And oftentimes we dive into self-negativity. We judge ourselves. We talk harshly to ourselves. We talk to ourselves in a way that we would never speak to another soul. So self-love is about holding yourself accountable for how you treat yourself.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with that. It's so interesting that pampering is okay, but true self-love feels like vanity or pride. I think they're the sort of sinful words, which is an interesting thing. I wasn't thinking of it in any religious terms, but I think those sorts of threads run through certainly British society, and I'm guessing American society too, for women at least.
Yes, it does. And other cultures around the world too. I think it's systemic where women are raised not knowing what self-love is. Obligations, duties, societal conditioning often comes before self-love.
Yeah, being raised to care for others, not yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to be self-sacrificial even.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly identify with that myself. I was raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they see self-love as being selfish.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to reclaim the word selfish, because self selfless is horrible. Selfish, it feels to me like it should be a good and positive word.
Mm-hmm.
Self-centered is also considered bad. But actually, if you're not centered on yourself, there's not much else there. You're
There
living.
is, you're giving from an empty cup.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
tell me some more of what you mean by sitting with all the different parts of yourself, embracing all the different parts of yourself.
Oh, it's been such an incredible journey on my own with this. And I do practice it myself. So I'm very aware when some aspect of me is just absolutely not happy with whatever's going on in the present moment. And it could be a tantrum, it could be rage, it could be really angry at myself for doing or saying something that I thought I shouldn't do. And a lot of us run from that. We'll vice it out, cope it out. We'll do all kinds of things to distract ourselves from it, or we will ignore that part of ourselves and go do something else.
Mm.
So what I suggest is, and I have a spot in my bedroom that I go to be with myself, and I just sit there and allow myself to feel however uncomfortable I am feeling, whether that's rage or disappointment, and I allow myself to fully feel it. I just don't get up off the seat until which time that part of me has got to fully feel what it needs to feel and express it. And then I
Mm.
love that part. I really do. I go up to it and I hug it and I allow it to feel accepted for what it was experiencing. And this can be difficult for a lot of women because they're not used to being with any part of themselves. They're used to giving out. And so that's the discomfort part, right?
Mm. Mm. And there's big judgment if it's tantrum or anger. Women really still aren't supposed to feel that. We're supposed to be tearful and emotional and vulnerable,
Mhm.
but certainly not assertive or angry, whatever. That is considered somehow bad behavior for women.
Mhm. So you can allow yourself to feel all of that
Mm.
verbally or non-verbally. Sometimes I verbalize the anger and rage that I'm feeling, and that part of me is allowed to do that.
Mm.
And that's
Mm.
where the love is, right? Where you love yourself enough to allow that part of you to experience what it needs to experience.
Now, this is key. Again, I think a key word for me is allowing,
Mhm.
because the sort of conditioning I had as a child was you're not allowed. You're not allowed to speak up. You're not allowed to ask for what you want. You're not allowed to have needs that are inconvenient. I mean, this is speaking about me, but I don't think it's uncommon.
It isn't uncommon,
Mm.
and it's very sad.
Mm. And allowing all of those feelings and being with them, in a kind, compassionate presence is so beautiful and so freeing.
Mhm.
And the other part that comes up for me is the wisdom. You know, how do you know what is old stuff and how do you know what's discernment? Once you've let all those feelings out, you've got a much clearer perspective. Is that
Mhm.
the young or is that the young you saying, this reminds me of something bad that happened when I was young. This is a red flag for you. I'm here to let you know.
Mhm.
And then adult you can decide what to do about it.
Exactly. You can't do that when you're busy running from it.
Mm. Mm. So tell me more about what happens if we run from it, if we sell ourselves out or abandon ourselves.
Yeah, we are abandoning ourselves. We don't realize it. And it's because we weren't taught that we have different aspects within ourselves. And so when we're experiencing something like shame, guilt, fear, embarrassment, our first instinct is to just go find something to do to make that discomfort go away. And in that way, you are abandoning that part of you that's experiencing something very uncomfortable and it really needs to be heard.
Mm.
So you are abandoning yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And if you don't really hear those things and you don't really take notice of yourself, from my experience with coaching and calling in the one, conscious uncoupling, that means you train other people to treat you accordingly,
Mm-hmm.
unconsciously, unintentionally, but that's the upshot. If you say, my feelings and needs don't matter, everybody else will think, oh, your feelings and needs don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And part of your work and my work is to sit with that part of us that feels our feelings and needs and wants don't matter.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I think, as well, this is not quite as easy as it sounds, because I think we need somebody initially to model that with us, to make it feel safe enough. And that's where therapy and coaching comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't change that resistance to feeling just by saying, right, I'm going to feel now.
Yeah,
I
it's
would.
very true. It is very true.
Yeah.
It really does, in my experience, help when you have someone witness you and
Yeah.
to show you what being present with yourself is like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It gives you a model that then you can grow that kind of presence in yourself. You can find that presence in yourself. I had a therapist years ago whose voice I still hear.
Really,
What about you then, Heather? What about
yeah.
you then, Heather? It's great. Yeah.
And so you ask, what about you?
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
I need? What do I want? How am I feeling?
Yeah. And there was a connection between us because we both wore pearls. So when I hold my pearls or I think, okay, she's here, it makes that connection and it deepens that presence in myself.
Mm-hmm.
She did say to me, I'm going to be with you till you're a very old lady and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. And once you've got that inside you, that's a real start. That's the green shoot that you can grow your tree of self-presence around.
Yes, and that's self love.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful. And if I do anything with my work, I want women to understand the greatest love you can have is with yourself. And
Yeah.
with that, it gives you a full cup to offer it to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very beautiful. Mm.
And it is indeed.
So why does this feel so wrong?
Mm. Well, we touched on that earlier. We were conditioned. Women all over the world in all cultures were conditioned that you don't think of yourself, that your purpose on this earth is to find a partner, have children, raise them, and to give, give, give. And so the idea of doing something like self love and self acceptance feels really wrong because we were taught that it was wrong. And I don't know that any culture that I've experienced or read about has actually said it's wrong. But here's the thing, it's covert in its meaning, where we get the idea that it's wrong. And we also think it's wrong because it's uncomfortable. It's new. It's something we've not experienced before. And many of us was taught to run from discomfort, to avoid it. And so it does feel wrong because it's so foreign.
Mm. Yeah. And I think there's the illusion that if we look after ourselves, we won't be able to look after others.
Mm.
But actually, the strength that comes from self-care creates a wave of self-care in others around us. So we're all able to care for ourselves and each other better. I think it's a very rich vein.
It is. And when you have a lot of, well, we'll just say women around you that know how to care for themselves and can give to others, you have a fulfilling, thriving community of women instead of competition, instead of hurt feelings, instead of lashing out and some of the other behaviors that happen.
Yeah.
So when you love yourself, you accept yourself, and you give from a place of being full, you have a different experience.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. This changes the narrative completely on what society says.
Yeah, it rocks the boat.
So tell me about your own ongoing journey. How is all this showing up for you, if you feel like sharing it?
Oh, it's, I sometimes cry. It's beautiful. It's absolutely incredibly beautiful. And I had never in my life dreamt that my personal growth would lead me to a love that's just indescribable. And I look forward to the uncomfortable moments now when I get to go sit with myself and learn more about myself and embrace myself more and more. It's just, there are no words really. Self love, it's just incredible. So I'm always challenged from one week to the next with something that happens in life to give me an opportunity to go deeper. It's an
Yeah.
ongoing thing. And people might think, well, you've been doing it for 32 years. I have. And yet there's still more.
Yeah.
My journey's
Absolutely.
not over. It's still, yeah, ongoing.
No, I agree. And as each age of our growth comes, there's an evolution. So there's
Mhm.
more to come. You just never know what's next on your journey, do you?
You don't, right? But the more you love yourself, the more you are prepared for it.
It's beautiful.
Hmm.
So if people want to work with you, where can they find you?
I have a website, consciouslyawake.counseling.com. You can find me on Facebook, Lisa Hawkins Dating Relationship Coach.
Lovely. Thank you.
Lovely. Yeah,
I'll
it is.
put all this in the show notes as well, just to make sure.
Thank you. It's been lovely being here.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Revolutionize Your Love Life. I'd like to know what has been your biggest takeaway from this conversation. Do take a minute and share this with us, and visit us on our Facebook page. You can connect with me personally on my email at heather@heathergarbutt.com. If you can think of someone who will benefit from listening to this podcast, please do share it with them. If you have any feedback on how I can improve it, please do reach out to me, as I'm always keen to learn more. Thank you so much again for listening, and we'll meet again on the next episode of Revolutionize Your Love Life.